It's time for daily game design, and a lot is going on. A lot of good things are going on, but it's still a lot of things. And this is certainly a pattern where I get excited about a lot of different things. In fact, I had a very nice conversation with a friend of mine Wednesday evening, and she was saying how easily I get distracted. There's just so many fun things to try out and build, experiment with, spend time on. So yes, it is very much a pattern of mine. So for example, we've had a couple meetings now about our mystery dinner theater, murder mystery dinner. And we met last night, had a very productive meeting. I'm so impressed with the storytelling capabilities of our two volunteers working on the story. Ming, with his experience and intuition it's great, and he's also working on building the team. I've checked with a few different people, tried to bring some people in to do some different stuff. Haven't made a lot of progress, but I'm trying to do my part just to get this event off the ground. And it takes time. And then meanwhile, we're prepping for the retreat happening in about 2 months. So I've always got ongoing conversations happening in the background there, or, trying to, asking or finding people to work on different tasks for that. And neither of these two things make money. So then I'm also still, they don't make money yet. That's not necessarily our main goal. Of course, we want to be sustainable and be able to spend more time doing what we enjoy doing and doing what we think will benefit the community. So it's a reason to earn money, but at this point, those things don't earn money. So of course I'm teaching, and so every week, I have responsibilities with that. It was fairly busy for me this week. I'm subbing. I went in yesterday to Mauna Lua and subbed with them. Thankfully, it's just an amazing gig where I get to make progress on a lot of stuff that I'm working on anyway. Also, I have my own personal game design projects that I enjoy working on. I just emailed somebody with the intent to help them work on their rule books. What else is going on with game design? I still haven't really figured out how to sell the Pathfinder game, so I need to work on some outlets for that. I've got this young adult retreat coming up. This is coming Wednesday next week, where I'm going to help out with music. It should be a fairly lightweight obligation, so I'm not worried about that. But it's still taking up time. I'm still going somewhere. I'm still gonna go, enjoy being with those people instead of working on projects. So that's a thing. I've got Convocation coming up, so I'm helping to organize music for that. That's in February. So just lots of things. And then also I need to figure out my timesheet for Adra to get paid. And that's something that's just been on the back burner for a while because I don't have a great system for like reconstructing my time. I didn't track it. I actually forgot that I put that in the contract. Lucky me. Then there's other stuff, the conversation I had with my friend. This will be interesting to you, I think. So she joined I had a little birthday celebration a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, January 11th. And she joined for that. I let out in a couple of games, and she's very business minded, has a fair amount of experience in her industry. And she said, yeah, corporations pay people to do that kind of stuff. And you can do it well. And I thought, okay, I haven't really ever thought. I mean, I pursued an idea with an escape room, like a mobile escape room at one point, but never spent a lot of time on that. I think I ran it twice and the school paid me, and I think I ran it for a young adult event one time. So there was a little thought there. And of course I did it for summer camp. So in that case I was essentially working and doing that kind of thing as well. And you know what? This takes me back to COVID times. when we ran, it was the summer after COVID had kind of settled down, but kids were still like social distancing, and we still had to get everybody tested. I think every week or every other week or something like that. And so the group of nurses that came to test us at camp, they wanted to do some kind of group activity at the end of the summer, and so Eric had them run through my escape room, and it was like a 2-part experience. And anyway, it was I think it was kind of a neat team building thing with them. So I've done that kind of thing before. And then of course, I host a lot. I facilitate a lot. I teach games all the time. I run circle games. In fact, just Saturday night, I ran some games for kids at Kailua Church. And it was positive. We had a nice time. Hey, Francisco, welcome. I saw your post in there about the crowd sale. Now, what does that mean exactly? It's kind of like crowdfunding, but the stakes are like lower or something. I forget how it works. Okay, so yeah, so I went over to the church and we ran some circle games for the kids. And so I feel comfortable running the games, dealing with people, dealing with issues that come up, comfortable doing that. And then I also enjoy the debriefing. I enjoy finding meaning in what we do. So I think both of those things, they pair up well when it comes to working with groups of employees, or whoever a business would be interested in training and keeping around and promoting like a positive experience for. I like that stuff. I think I can do it fairly well. So anyway, it would be interesting to pursue that idea, partly because it's much more lucrative than anything I'm working on now. And it'd be nice to spend less. Of course, this is the ideal recipe. Spend less time making more money so that I can do other things and more interesting things. Like, isn't that's the golden ticket? Find something you do pretty well, something that people value, lean into that, and then find more and more lucrative opportunities, so that even if you have fewer clients, you're still gaining more income, so that you can use your time and design your experience the way you like. So anyway, this idea of like working with corporations actually sounds pretty good. So crowd sale is a type of crowdfunding campaign where the more backers there are, the bigger the discount is for every backer. Okay. So is there a minimum? Is there like a threshold that the backers need to meet in order for the sale to go through? Or it's like no matter what, no matter what the game crafter is, you'll just have the games printed and send those to people. Is that how it works? Okay, so what I want to do here is show you back to back my Sugar Shack pitch videos. So one video, was it about a year ago I made this video? It says May 7th. So I recorded it in May. I must have sent it off to AEG, and that's also when I was getting feedback from Shem Phillips. So I went back to those messages and found my old video, because I just sent this video, the new one I made yesterday, 2 days ago. I sent that one to both of those guys. One, just because Shem was really helpful early on, and I kind of wanted him to see how much things had changed. And And then with AEG, it was the same thing. I actually want to pull up that email and show that I didn't hit the target as far as getting everything, hitting everything in the list of stuff that John sent. But at least I think I got closer to the mark. That's all I think is okay. Not perfect, but I think I'm closer to the mark. Okay, so let me see where this email is. But I'm going to play this first video, and I'll be honest, I feel is fairly awkward to watch. So you can enjoy this. I don't know if there's a way to show both of these in a bigger screen. Okay, but the exciting thing is that I was able to do this one in 4 minutes. Did I say 3 minutes or less or 4 minutes? But I won't be able to hear it. I think I can read the text, but I won't be able to hear it. John. Okay. Okay. I wonder if there's a way that I can just show this without giving away, like, I don't know, an email or something. I guess I don't have his email address anyway. I think it's kind of protected behind Zendesk or whatever they use. But, so I'll read the criteria that he's looking for when they look at, when they look at pitches. This is what they're hoping for. Oh, I see this, Francisco. So no, even if only one backer, they'll get it at the initial $5 off discount. That's cool. That's what's great about print on demand. If they're able to do this whole print on demand thing at scale and like swap out, all the the components, that whatever it is, the art, like if they're able to just like, let me print this game in 3 minutes, let me print this other game in 2 minutes, and it's no problem. That's amazing. They don't have to retool everything. They're not doing minis or anything like that. I think it's a really cool model if they can get it going at scale, and it sounds like that's definitely what they did. So it's very cool. Okay, so here's the list. Actually, you know what I can do? I'll just bring it into Keep and read it from here. Okay, so this is pretty much the whole email. So thanks so much for sending over Sugar Shack. Your enthusiasm for syrup production, especially the evaporator, was genuinely infectious. You'll see that I feel like that's actually some of the cringe stuff coming, is my relationship to the evaporator. Learned something I didn't know about the process, which is always a great sign that the theme is connecting. That said, the pitch leaned heavily into how much the game offers rather than showing us the key moments that bring people back. And it's that little phrase, that bring people back, that you'll see I latch onto in the next video. Okay, we'd love to see a version of the pitch that focuses more clearly on the hook. What's the one thing players will remember and talk about after playing? I don't think I actually identified a hook. The fun beats were the most exciting and satisfying moments, and how often do they happen? I don't think I did a great job of like doing this specifically, but you'll see I did highlight 3 areas that I think are most interesting in the game and that players will enjoy thinking about and engaging with. The core gameplay loop, I didn't describe it exactly, but I did show incidentally what's happening on a person's turn, but I didn't say on your turn you're doing one of 2 things. I didn't say that. I honestly thought I'm pretty sure I did not review this email before I made the video. I did a whole bunch of takes and thought I kept refining and refining down to, shortening the time and also highlighting what I thought were key ideas and moments. So anyway, you'll see. Okay, what sets it apart? Why this game and why now? Play experience. What is the losing player excited about? I missed some of that stuff too. Okay. Well, you clearly have something thoughtful, well developed. To think a tighter focus on the player experience, Sugar Shack could land more strongly. Okay. Okay, so they invited another look in January of this year, which is why I sent them an email with a new video. But let's watch both. So here's the old one, the new one. Oh, how's the lighting? And just like the difference is going to be pretty wild, actually. And also, like how unclear the rules are. What does a tighter focus on player experience mean? Yeah, well, let's see. So I think you'll see. I think you'll see a difference in these two videos because I think in the first. Anyway, we'll just watch the videos and then see how it goes. Let me make sure my audio is in good shape. Hey, it's Scott with Cabletop Games. I'm here to show you why Sugar Shack is fun and interesting in 4 minutes or less. This is a 1 to 2 player worker placement game. It's very component light. I have towns set up here. It's just 8 cards in this game. And these buildings are going to be different every time. It's going to affect your planning, the strategies that are available to you, how you time things, how you prioritize things. Are you going to go to the bank and get a loan to kickstart your game? Are you going to get certain upgrades from the grant office that let you work better with markets? Are you going to upgrade your Sugar Shack first, or are you going to buy a truck first? Oh, there's the truck. If Syrup Inc. was in, that corporation was in the game, would you participate in the tug of war? Certainly in the Flapjack House, which has an auction for the contract in round 2. Okay, so far it's like a list of stuff you can do, right? It's a list of things you could participate in. There was a little description of like the variability and setup that could be kind of cool. I still like how small this package is. I like the idea that they're like, if I think in another game this would still work. An idea where you have, random cards come out. It's like any kind of maybe dungeon crawlish, small box dungeon crawlish game where you just have like a lot of cards with enemies and traps and whatever, and they just get laid out randomly and you interact with those cards. I think that would work for this kind of game. And if they're all slightly different mechanically, I think that's still interesting as an idea. I've dropped that idea to get variability from somewhere else, which you'll see. But so far, it's just literally a list of, this is stuff you can do. Hopefully you're going to bid pretty high so you have exclusive rights to drop off Syrup there for a whole round all by yourself. Anyway, lots of really cool things to choose from here. The overall goal is that you earn the most money by the end of the game, which is to say that you're out in the community interacting, getting your syrup out there. But the heart of the game is here. Okay, the heart of the game. What the heart of the game? I actually can't hear what I said, but there it is. So yeah, a bunch of talk about how things work, and not necessarily like why a player would want, like the so what of everything. Maybe that's missing. In the Sugar Shack, this is where you're going to be making the maple syrup itself. And I think that it represents some really important ideas and important moments in the syrup making process. Now you've tapped the trees over here in the sugar bush, this stand of maple trees. And so you're going to be bringing in cubes into your holding tank. They're going to get transferred into your evaporator. The evaporator is the heart of the game. So in syrup making, the sap that you get is tons of water content. So you need to boil so much of that off, like to the tune of 40 to 60 gallons of sap becoming 1 gallon of syrup. It's wild. Okay, so yeah, okay, so here's some kind of technical stuff about syrup making. Cool, maybe. And it was generous of him to say, that was neat because I learned something, but like I think I let theme take over here in a way that probably wasn't very productive or helpful, especially in this area. I mean, thinking about what the Sugar Shack looks like now versus this really like procedural step-by-step thing. I'm really happy with the direction I went, even though there was a massive sacrifice of theme here.
So anyway, because the evaporation process is so important, so ongoing, it's represented here in the game by just an automated process. At the start of your turn, any cubes in the evaporator are just advanced automatically, and now they create the key moment in syrup making, which is the finishing step. That's when the water content is just right. There's not so much that the sugar content is too low and it's not stable. It could go bad. And there's not too little so that it crystallizes and also goes bad for another reason. Now here is the moment when it's the premium product that you want. It's the liquid gold, and you need to be ready. You need to be attentive and ready to catch the syrup at that moment.
There's no mention of really how this works either, right? So yeah, there's still more like maple syrup education going on. But don't know what the goal objective is or how. Yeah. All right. Oh, I see. These are a little bit older.
And so that is represented here in these locations in the Sugar Shack. So just, any standard worker placement, you need to move a worker to an empty location. Here there are 3 in the Sugar Shack. This lets me gather sap. And then here the worker is prepared to catch syrup. Otherwise, you could have ignored the evaporator and sold some candy, some maple candy out of your stand for 5 money. And that's important too, because when you're ready to travel into town, of course you load up your vehicle with bottles of syrup and pay the money to head out, to drive out to tier 2, interact with the building out there. Now here,
there's also no real clarity around like what do you actually do on your turn? How does the game actually work? There are hints at it. It's the same. I have the same issue with the next video, but like in this one, I kind of drop mechanical bombs, and you'll see that here in a second without any real description. Like there's a pawn sitting here. Okay, so what? Somehow that has something to do with these areas, but I don't know how. And then you'll see in town, like it's just like, whoa, that's a mystery. Yikes.
here is another key idea in this game. There's kind of a ratchet system. And so where you leave your workers behind is very, very important, at least in the Sugar Shack, because now this pawn who's out in town is obligated to work their way back toward the Sugar Shack.
Yeah, like what in the world? They're obligated to come back? What does that mean?
Until they reach it. So it creates this really cool problem of like, where do I leave basically giving instructions to the Sugar Shack worker back at home to keep doing what they're doing? Where do I leave them so I get the most, so it's most efficient, so I can interact with all these buildings and yet make sure that my Sugar Shack is productive while I'm gone. Anyway, some really fun moments, and I think some great tensions, really juicy decisions here. Anyway, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, mechanical bombs. So yeah, you can see my enthusiasm there. There's definitely, I think you can see just from the image that, it's super compact. There's some diversity here. Like there are different ways. You can kind of intuitively understand that there are different ways to engage with town. I, gave very little description of how the game actually works, which could be a problem, and it may be a problem in the next video too. Oh no, which definitely was a problem. But wow, look at how simplified this whole thing was. So I did have upgrades at this point, and I'm pretty sure that you can upgrade the Sugar Shack too, but I wouldn't have. I guess I didn't show that. But the engine building piece has become such an important factor, and now the way that the worker placement works is entirely different. Anyway, I'm really, really excited about a lot of the changes that are in the game that have happened with the game since this video. But let's see the next video, see how it goes. Okay. You can see I'm similarly bearded in this video. I guess this beard is a little longer. How about the hair, though? The hair is having some issues. I actually really do want to get a haircut very soon. But okay, let's watch this video. This one is 4.5 minutes, so not much better. No, it's not better. It's not that much worse in terms of length. It'd be nice if I got it down to like 3 minutes. That'd be amazing, but I just cannot imagine getting much information out in 3 minutes that actually kind of speaks to that list from John. I'm sure somebody could do it. I guess I didn't. I could have worked on this a lot more, scripted it out better. Because usually what I do is I just take a whole bunch of takes. I think I mentioned that. Just a whole bunch of takes until I kind of refine what I'm saying and feel good about the flow of it. And then I find one that's like a decent take and edit it a little bit and then go like move on. So that's become my approach. Okay, so here is updated Sugar Shack pitch video. Hey, I'm Scott with Cabletop Games. This is Sugar Shack. It's a 1 to 2 player, a small box, small footprint Euro with elements of worker placement, engine building, and resource management. So players find themselves as rival maple syrup makers in the small town of Maplewood. So what I want to do is highlight a few of the mechanics and decision points that are going to keep players coming back to this little game. But first of all, players set the pace. They do this in a couple of ways. If a player has ever won 7 trophies, at the end of their turn, they win the game immediately. If you look around the town area here in front of you, these 9 cards, you'll see trophies scattered around. So maybe players are earning trophies by coming to the hardware store and upgrading their Sugar Shack area, or participating in community projects, or building their gift shop display. You can see that there are lots of ways to earn trophies. So you can, as a way to end the game early, you can rush and try to earn a bunch of trophies. Typically, the game will end when this card is depleted of its cubes 3 times. This is the Sugar Bush. The Sugar Bush is actually the maple, the stand of maple trees where players would go and gather sap. That's represented by these cubes. And players will send a staff member down into the Sugar Bush, fill up their evaporator in their Sugar Shack. They can spend a little extra money to fill this space right here. And how crazy is it? Yeah, I see that I think there's just so many strengths in like the stitching method. Let me go look at yours actually, Francisco. Because what I'm curious about is if we'll see your face. I imagine we will, but with stitching, it makes me feel like we won't. Is this it? Okay, up here. Yeah. Okay,
Welcome to the
there he
Junkyard
is.
Juggernauts crowd sale. I am Francisco Ruiz, the designer and pixel artist for Junkyard Juggernauts. And if you aren't familiar with the term pixel artist, it's essentially someone who makes art in the style of old Sega and Nintendo video games like Shining Force and Chrono Trigger. And though video games had an influence...
Yeah, I think it is. It's better. Yeah, I like this a lot better. I can't hear it right now just because of the way that the audio's... Like, I don't have any headphones in, so I can't route audio through without an echo or something, but...
influence on Junkyard Juggernauts. It's definitely its own thing. So, what is it? Junkyard Juggernauts is a 1 to 4 player fantasy...
Oops. I have my mouse set up in a kind of funny way where I jump around and I don't really know why. Yeah, right? Because there's a kind of dummy speaker that lets OBS hear what's happening in the system, but I'm not hearing it in my speaker because there'd be an echo.
Welcome to the Junkyard Juggernauts crowd sale. I am Francisco Ruiz, the designer and pixel artist for Junkyard Juggernauts. And if you aren't familiar with the term pixel artist, it's essentially someone who makes art in the style of old Sega and Nintendo video games like Shining Force and Chrono Trigger. And though video games had an influence on elected as the warlord's acolyte, working in secret to expand their own power and
Okay, well, I do like the method used. I didn't do any. You can see, I got away with the side by side, and I like that you put all the work into like cutting and yeah, all the editing you did. I think that's pretty. I can watch it. Be looking for something specific. No, just kind of clicking through because it looked like you actually showed the real rule book. That's cool, and then you, yeah, you had your face, and then I don't know what it's called, but B-roll or whatever, where you actually show like your hands moving around and stuff. So that's cool. I clearly didn't do that. I went side by side here with Panopto. And I can't hear it anyway, so I kind of feel like, well, that's too bad. So continuing. And over time, especially as when players recall their workers, that's when they'll bottle these cubes. And so players decide how often they go and visit and refill their evaporator. They can also decide to upgrade their Sugar Shack so that production is higher, and they'll be claiming more cubes off of that card. There are other ways in town that you can pull cubes off of that card. But anyway, the players, maybe they'll decide to upgrade their production because they're feeling good. They want to drain the sugar bush as fast as possible because they've got a bunch of trophies. They think they're going to end the game with the most trophies, or maybe they try to slow down because they're still trying to gain more trophies. Anyway, that's up to the players. I think that's a neat thing. Yeah, so I think the pace idea is probably the weakest of the three. I think it's fine to start that way. But I probably spent too much time. I think it is an interesting feature of the game that you have control over the timing of when the game ends. But I don't know that it's that important. And you can also see that this is one example where I hint at what you could do on your turn, and you see that there are these placements all around the board. So even though I didn't say on your turn, you take a meatball and place it on a location and activate that location. I never said that, but I did demonstrate it a couple of times. So hopefully there's at least a little hint at how the game actually works. I mentioned upgrade. Well, I also mentioned the recall action. So hopefully you can pick up, I should have said it, but hopefully you can pick up that you send out your staff and then you recall your staff. This is another element of this game I'm excited about. Players will feel much stronger as they go throughout the game. There are actually 3 ways to upgrade. Their Sugar Shack has these 3 cards. You can either increase production here by upgrading the Sugar Shack itself. There's the garage that if you upgrade, you can add a barrel. It's just another lucrative way to distribute cubes in town. You can even add an extra permanent worker here because as you recall, you fill these number of spaces that are outlined in bold. So you can add a permanent worker. I mentioned recalling. You can actually make your recalling action feel better by working with Syrup Inc. and building this little tower here. You can earn a trophy that way, and whenever you recall, you actually gain a little income, so that feels good too. This type of upgrading is available to both players, but they get to decide what to upgrade and when to upgrade that. There's also the grant office, which provides unique, powerful abilities that are kind of expensive. They take a while to get to, but when a player claims one of these abilities, it can be game-changing for them. So that's another way to feel stronger, but that one is unique to them. So the emergent asymmetry, I think, is really neat in this small package. Finally, I want to introduce... Yeah, so I feel like engine building is actually probably the most prominent or kind of important aspect. I mean, worker placement is how the game works, but engine building, I think, is what makes the game most interesting. Now, with the the introduction of the mayor. The mayor did not exist during the last video. Worker placement didn't. It kind of existed, but it certainly didn't exist in this way. In that iteration, and also there weren't. Adding staff allowed for one more thing to be upgraded. Yeah, upgrading the garage and simply making it the addition of the barrel, I think was a big thing. Because the barrel, even though there are not that many places to use the barrel, they're still pretty lucrative. There are 2 of them. And if you can use them at the right time, you get like a really, really nice payout for those 2 cubes. So I think it's still a good upgrade, especially if you want to get a burst of income toward the beginning of the game. It's a really nice way to ramp, in other words. So it's cool, and it's the middle priced. The production of the Sugar Shack is the cheapest at 6 money, and then it's 8 money, and then it's 10 money. So I actually really like the system here, these 3 things. I also, when I realized that this income is really about making the recall action feel better, I was really excited to put that together and kind of make sense of it that way. It was when I first returned to this idea that Syrup Inc. could be something other than just like going there and spending money on something, but like let it be a safety valve, a kind of safety valve for people who are kind of running out of things to do. And also make it something you can improve. I thought that was really exciting, but I didn't realize what it was really improving at that point was the recall action. I think when I worked on the syrup, going to leave a lurk up, but need to go pick up my kid. Appreciate you. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Good luck with the crowd sale. Excited for you. Okay, so now, yeah, the recall action, I'm not actually sure if it existed when I worked on Syrup Inc. again. Maybe it did, but I was still there were still rounds. So everybody would place out their workers, and then all at the same time they would recall and like run their little machine. In this case, running the machine is part worker placement, and you can force the machine to run with a worker placement, but it's also it's built into the recall action. I think this is so much better, so much smoother. And also the fact that we can actually upgrade the recall action, I think is a really nice touch, and it's working with Syrup Inc. Okay, and then of course the grant office. I love that you can upgrade these 4 things. Both players can upgrade all of this stuff, and they choose which thing to upgrade. Like, that's neat. But it's cool that there's this unique upgrade in the grant office. But let's continue.
The character of the mayor. So the mayor is going to be showing up around town and holding events at these locations, which will kind of temporarily block the location. But the mayor also provides really interesting, powerful benefits. He's going to be showing up there. He'll always be somewhere in town. And in this case, he's at the warehouse. And he's got a condition. You'll have to spend you have to give him some syrup as well. But then when you earn this card, you earn a trophy and also a powerful benefit. So a player might send a worker here to the town hall to call the mayor back and have a meeting with the mayor. Anyway, earning this card and earning that trophy and bringing the mayor out somewhere else. He's going to show up at the gift shop in this case. So the name of the game there is that players are adapting. They're being flexible. So while they have a kind of long-term strategy as they build their engine, they're also having to react to what the other player's doing, what the mayor's up to. So I think there can be some kind of fun tension there, some thrilling moments here in this little game. So that is Sugar Shack. I appreciate your time. I look forward to hearing from you. Anyway, thanks so much. That's it for me. Bye-bye for now.
Okay, that is the revised pitch video for Sugar Shack. I feel better about it. It still didn't hit all of these things, but I do feel better about it. I think it's clearer as far as what the game is about, a little more about how it works, a lot more about the interesting beats and like what players can work on or focus on. So I think there's real progress, both in the game and in the video, but I still didn't incorporate everything on this list. So yeah, I think something that the why now question is an interesting one. And I wish I had addressed it. Why this game and why now? It's tough because I do think like artisanal craft stuff is kind of in. You know, all the way from like alcohol to now instruments. I have a friend who's working on a woodworking game. I feel like that kind of stuff is kind of in right now. But if this game gets published in 2 years, there's no way to know. So it's weird to talk about. It's weird to talk about why this game and why now, because of the publishing timeline. So I could still have mentioned that trend. I think it is a real thing. Something nostalgic, something. I have one more word that something quaint, I think, is nice. But anyway, yeah. Well, hopefully it's at least an improvement. I hope I'll hear back, but if I don't, at least, you know, I feel a lot better about the situation, the state of the game as it is. Yeah, I do have a lot to do today. I wonder if there's a little something I can do. At the moment, you know, one thing I do need to work on the flyers for the mystery dinner theater. You know, I dropped the word theater. The reason is because I have lower expectations about the theater of it. It's okay. It's a little bit sad, but we'll see. You know what? Maybe I'm just gonna take a little break today and play one of my favorite games on BGA. Hopefully it loads fine. I started up a game with my friend Mike, and it had been a while. Oh, here was something kind of neat. So I do have access to, where's all the alpha stuff? So I'm going to be playtesting some stuff with, it looks like I'll be working a little bit with a guy I met at BGG Con. He was on one of the panels, and it looks like a bunch of these games have been kind of stuck in alpha. So there's alpha where there's probably a bunch of bugs. It's kind of weird, probably. And then there's beta, which is pretty stable. And then that's beta gets pushed out to, I think, all premium members, maybe everybody. I'm not too sure. And that's basically the game is close to its. Oh, I never heard of Band of Brothers. I was glad to see Ethnos here. Anyway, beta is basically the public version where they're saying there's probably still a little trouble in the game somewhere, like technically, but it's pretty much done. So we see a bunch of these games that are not yet released. This one I want to play. I think I learned this with Nathan at one of his game nights up in Mililani. But why did I come? Oh, Wispwood. Where is that? Where's Wispwood? So Wispwood is the CGE game that came out last year. I was also excited. I got an email from CGE about joining their playtesting server for the next game. in their lineup. And it's fun because it's one of those things I'm not supposed to talk about. So it's kind of cool. Like it feels like I'm a, like whatever that is, like I'm a spy or something. But this is I'm on the inner circle. Does that feel good? But it's really important not to put too much weight on those feelings, I've learned. And also, like these games, this is one thing that I find very important now is to recognize, like, yeah, there are very talented people in here, but they're just people who are doing interesting things. And I am also a person who does interesting things, so I'm not so intimidated, by looking at this stuff, working with people who do these things. So anyway, here, yeah, there are some pretty interesting games like Andromeda's Edge. I haven't been able to play this at the table yet, but I heard cool stuff. This apparently is the prime example of your recall action feeling really good. So it was watching a video that included a detail about how Luke Laurie, maybe I mentioned this, powers up recall actions in a really clever way. That's when I understood how to talk about what Syrup Inc. does in Sugar Shack. But where is it? Wispwood is somewhere at the top. There it is. So we'll play at some point. And I haven't learned the rules. I think it's tile placement, but I don't know what makes it different or interesting. But you can see a bunch of interesting stuff coming up. Some of these are already out, so I'm not really sure like what Far Away is doing in here. Nucleum, still interested in that. I think it's like distributing power, electricity, or whatever. Neon Rain, this is a game Josh just recently gave me, and they've played it a couple times on Monday nights. I haven't really learned it yet, but I've read the rules, I think, and I don't know. I just don't. Oh, Twilight Imperium 4. Who in the world would take on this project? What the heck? Oh, Imperial Miners is cool. Oh, I think my friend Megan will be excited about that. I think I'm going to screenshot some of this stuff and send it to them because this is cool. Alchemists, I've also heard cool things about. But I missed that. I missed Imperial Miners. That's cool. And it is a neat game. It's a little kind of route building, tableau building thing, which I enjoyed. Earth. I played it once, wasn't super into it, but maybe just because it was once. I don't know anything about Lancaster, but it looks like an older beige Euro. And I find that I do like I like the efficiency problems in those games. Ethnos is great. Excited about that. I think this has also been stuck in here for a long time. Do I know what Voyagers is? No, I don't think so. Cool that Mahjong is going to be in there. It's hard to know what rules they're going to play with. Yeah, Champions. I've been wanting to play this for a long time. I've heard it's like a more Eurotrash version of Raiders of the North Sea. Why did I say Eurotrash? Ameritrash. Magic Maze. I find this to be a surprise. Like, how in the world would a real-time cooperative game work in BGA? I have no idea, but maybe. Yeah. Okay, well, I came here to play. Oh, it looks like I can take my turn in probably Arnak. Yeah. So I'm playing Mike again. Mike, he beat me handily the last two games, and then we took a break with my parents being here and other stuff going on. But we're playing, and I'm playing with the snake. What is it? The Snake Temple for the first time. Okay, so it would be nice to travel this round. So I knew he was going to do that. yeah, this is already trouble. So I should probably actually go here first. Yeah. And then I'll just play a quick... I'm going to play a quick space base. I've enjoyed trying some of these games with my friend Andrew. A little more petite, these games. There was Tiny Towns, which was fine. That was actually kind of nice. Recipe fulfillment, because like it's kind of tile placement stuff. And I thought it was neat. Okay, we're similarly rated here. And then Agent Avenue. I feel like there would be a very serious ceiling on how interesting that game could become to me. But oh, are there a bunch of 5s? There are not many. This 2 is just so powerful, it's hard to pass up. And the 11, I could just let the 11 go to bed and work on 5s and 6s and 7s maybe. So like the 11 arrow is really powerful, and I think there's a fair amount of stuff out there. Oh, what's he going for? Oh. I'm really sad about this strategy. This little kind of incremental, just buy. Maybe I should buy them then. Guess I'm gonna go 7s. So he's probably gonna take this 7 next. A little bit sad about that. Oh, he's going 6s. Oh, so he's putting it on me. Okay, I'll take that for sure. I'm never really sure whether to play offense or defense in this game. I think both are important. Watch, this is going to open up something like amazing for him. Nope, not too bad. Yeah, I wonder what that was about. Well, 6s in this game are, as I understand it, theoretically the most likely thing to get rolled, so. So I have 9 money. We could add a 6. I'm pretty sure he's going to go with these small things. Is he close? Not yet. I know by buying these little... Oh, interesting. We lose ya. Yeah, I lost connection for a second. I can improve the 1. He's going to take this 1 here. What is he doing? Okay, with a 3. I'll just take it for now. Okay, a little boost. 5, 6, and 11. So I'm just finishing off my stream with a little space base. Then I have a bunch to do work-wise. It's going to be a pretty full day. So 10 money. I don't really need... Oh, this is kind of interesting. I think I'm going to do it. It's still nice when... It's still nice to improve. No nines. Oh. Oh, bummer. Okay, I'm catching up in the small... Oh, is that 7 gone? Oh, interesting. Yeah, bummer. I'm kind of in trouble. Let's see, a 9. Is there a 9 that would be useful? Swap 2 and 11? No. You know what? I'm gonna wait and hopefully get this 7. I don't think it's gonna work. I think he's gonna get it first, but it would be nice. Yeah, if he gets this 7, I'm in big trouble. If I get it, okay. Yeah, I don't love missing out on these, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, this is bad news. 1 and 3. Yep, so he's taking the 7. Did not take the 7. Okay, I misunderstood here. But finally I get this buy a card back. Yeah, no matter what, I'm in trouble. Okay, so the 5 is there. Okay. I'm keeping up, at least. Oh, wait. What is this? It's 8. So I can do a 2 and this one. Yeah, uh-oh. Threes I haven't really improved. There's just no way. Their engine's too strong. I'm trying though. doesn't help if I'm just getting these little tiny rolls. Yeah, it's not really gonna matter here. I think they're just moving too fast. If I can hit several 7s in a row, that's different. Is there anything that would really, really help me here? What's going on with my 6? I'll take this little guy. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're alive. We are alive. I think I'll do it just in hopes of hitting. It's a little sad that I still don't have take it now. Oh, wow. This I did not believe was possible. So okay, just lucky rolls. I got those 7s, which should not necessarily have happened. But anyway, that's it for me for today. Thanks for hanging out and thinking about pitch videos. I will see you soon. Bye-bye for now.